Hey, how you going? Right, so I thought today I'd do something a little bit different. Now, you may have, or may not have, wondered why I haven't been doing things like how I did the different projects. That was on purpose. I didn't do videos about how to do a lot of the building stuff because I'm no builder, and I didn't want to give the impression that the way I did things was the right way. In fact, a lot of the times I'm pretty sure it wasn't the right way. So that's why I didn't do that. But what I will do is I'll at least give you a heads up of what things I used, because if you were wanting to do something similar, or you're thinking about, I don't know, some options, you're probably going to need these sorts of things as well. So the things I found really useful is what I'm going to introduce you now. So the first thing that I needed a lot is a good power saw. You could do it with just a regular hand saw, but I imagine that would take a lot longer. Also, another thing you need, you might not think about until you need it: extension cords. You need to be able to get the power to your caravan or your whatever you're using as your movable home or your tiny home or whatever. Square. This one's got a level on it too, which is useful, just to make sure that you're cutting things right and you're leaving things off. Screwdrivers. This is only one of many that I used. I actually used one that had a lot of different head attachments as well, which was useful to do different types of screws. Pliers. May not be as useful if you're doing a build from new materials, but given that I was doing everything from recycled, I had to pull a lot of things apart, so that became quite useful. And I also had a couple of different sets of different types of pliers for pulling out specific things. Like I have one particularly for pulling out staples, for example, which was good for the cladding stuff that I was using. Measuring tape. You need a good quality measuring tape so you know you can get the measurements right when you're not on the actual thing. Hammer. I think it's fairly self-explanatory, same as the screwdriver. A decent carpenter's pencil is useful. They're better than your normal pencil because they've got a darker line, and also they're made to be sharpened up just with a knife as well. It's another thing you need, which I don't have right here. Craft knife. Sorry, not a craft knife. A Stanley knife. Really important. Or a box cutter. Probably call them different things in different countries. Staple gun. That was handy for me because I was using a lot of light woods and particle board, and yeah, also for things like when I was doing insulation, I stapled the insulation layer down to the floor and stuff as well, so that can be handy. A metal ruler. So a steel ruler is important so you can cut along it with the knife if you need to without damaging the ruler. It also gives you a truer edge. I feel like you can trust that more than you can like a plastic one, for example, or a wooden one. A drill. You need a drill because you need to screw stuff, and a lot of the time you're going to break boards if you don't drill it first. This guy though, this was absolute champion. So all these things are wonderful, but this one here was especially good for doing lots of the smaller, more fiddly things, and there's lots of going around corners, and there was little notches I had to cut out. So this is called a Renovator. That's just a brand name, but it's a multi-tool that does lots of different things. So this one in particular, I used the saw attachments and the sanding attachments most. So yeah, these are things you might want to consider. The other thing is just an old-fashioned hand saw. That's quite handy. You might want to have different sizes as well. A hacksaw is useful. I use mostly the Renovator for the hacksaw type stuff, but yeah, that's most of the things that I used, hey? I used a few other things. Another one you might want to have, well you definitely will need probably eventually, is a caulking gun. So that's for when you have things like silicon sealant and things you want to put in, you need to make sure you've got something to apply that. And things like, yeah, little applying tools. So yeah, applying different things like filler or sealant, things like that. You'll need things for that. That's most of what I use for all of that work. So obviously that's going to differ depending on your project, but that's just to give you an idea of an overview of things you can expect to use as well. Cool, I hope that's helpful. See ya!